This is a product video for Cubra-as Soft Touch Interior Wrap Film. The first step is to go to coverstyl.com and click on Discover the New Collection. Then scroll over and click on Soft Touch, which will then take you down to a section where you can click on See the Range. Here you'll see swatches of the 8 colors in the line, and by clicking on one of the swatches, you will get more detailed information, such as product number and more information about the product. Be sure to note that it has a warranty of 10 years, it is for interior use only, the roll length is 50 meters and is 122 centimeters wide. And here are the recommended tools to use: a stainless steel 58-degree blade, tape measure, backing paper cutter, squeegee with a buffer, sponge application tools and Cubra-as primer, a tool belt, and a heat gun. We now get to the install, and for best protocol, it's a good idea to remove the hardware when possible. This will make it much easier to prep and install the Cubra-as Soft Touch. To clean the surface, it's best to use a mixture of alcohol and water, 70% isopropyl alcohol and 30% water. Never spray directly on the surface, spray on a microfiber towel and first focus on the edges, then focus on the main surface area. Once the surface is clean, now it's time to add primer. And note that the Cubra-as primer does come with a brush that is attached to the lid. Remove the excess primer from the brush, then coat the outside edges with primer. Be sure to do this in a 360 motion, and if there are multiple pieces being applied, be sure to apply primer to all edges as well, and wait for it to dry. And while the primer dries, now is a good time to measure each section. Always be sure to add an extra 5 to 7 centimeters for all sides so it can wrap around safely, and document all the measurements on a sheet. The product number and color swatch are on the outside of the box, and be sure to remove the material carefully and place it on a roller, as well as wipe down the table to remove any dust. Roll the Soft Touch with the liner side facing up, and this is to take advantage of the grid on the liner, which is broken up into 10 centimeter squares. Now, either referencing the squares or using a tape measure, mark the panels with a dry erase marker, then cut them straight. The straighter the cut, the easier the install. And a good tip is to mark the liner either with masking tape and a permanent marker or a dry erase marker, and then be sure to mark the number on the object that is being applied, and this will help ensure high workflow. And when setting aside each panel, be sure to roll them loose, not too tight. And before starting the install, it's a good idea to understand the properties of the adhesive. It's a pressure-sensitive acrylic, and it comes with an air egress feature. This means that if there are bubbles during the install, in many cases they can be simply pressed away. And because Soft Touch is often applied to low surface energy objects, the initial tack is very high, and if it folds on itself, it can be very difficult to pull apart. That's why using this dedicated backing paper cutter is a good idea. To use it, extend the blade and test on a scrap. If cutting on an uneven surface, the backing paper won't be cut all the way through. If the blade is extended out too far, it can cut all the way through the Soft Touch. So, and always practice on a scrap. Once you get the right blade depth and cut on an even surface, then only the backing paper will be cut and the Soft Touch will be fine. If there are any raised objects around the section being applied, like on the side of this cabinet, running masking tape is a good idea. And one way to release the liner is to simply just pull the backing paper, fold it over and crease it, and then simply make sure that you're even, left to right, top to bottom. Then, once it's set, tack it on the raised object on the outside, squeegee from the middle out, and you're good to go. Another way to create a hinge is using the backing paper cutter, cutting a section away from the top of the panel, pulling the backing paper away, find the right position, lightly tack it on place on the high side, squeegee in the middle. If it tacks initially, just simply use a free hand to pick it up, squeegee to the left, and squeegee to the right. And a third way to create a hinge is by doing a double cut on the liner, then place it safely on the object being applied, then squeegee from the middle out. This in many ways is the safest way to start a panel, as it exposes just a minimal amount of adhesive, then simply pull the liner slowly away and squeegee. Always squeegee with 45-degree overlapping strokes and firm pressure, and work from side to side while slowly pulling the liner out. There may be times during the application process where the material tends to bunch up. If this is the case, always continue to squeegee at a 45-degree angle, but squeegee with less area of the squeegee, and keep the backing paper on as long as possible. And once the panel has been applied to a section, a good tip is to go over the edges with a finger. This will help secure the cover style to the corner as it's transitioned to the outside. If it's an edge that's close to the floor and not visible, this can be flush cut. Simply angle the blade slightly in towards the edge. And for raised objects, pick the soft touch up, then tuck it into the base of the raised object. Then rotate the squeegee and take advantage of the 90-degree corner. Run the squeegee one more time at the base of the raised object, and now it's fully tucked into the base. And now cut away the excess film. Always make sure to keep the blade securely in the corner. And now you will get tips on how to get perfect corners and wrap the soft touch around the edges. First, add a kiss of heat to the corner, form it around, click the blade so it's extra sharp, and cut 45 degrees away from the corner. If the visual on the corner is facing down, then the bottom piece will be applied last. Fold this over and secure it to the main surface area so it's out of the way. Give the top piece a kiss of heat and gently pull it around the corner and down. With the corner set, add a little bit of heat to the top section and then round the soft touch on the corner with a finger. Once the top section is flat, do the other corner, then relax the film in the middle section, round the soft touch on the corner again so it's securely on that corner, then squeegee the material onto the flat section on the edge. Relax the material on the edge with heat. Once the film cools, then run a finger on the edge, and now it's time to cut the excess film. For this section, be sure to cut it 4 to 5 millimeters away from the corner. Then cut away the excess film on the top edge and always angle your blade slightly in towards the edge, as this will create a nice flush finish. Now it's time to apply the bottom section. Fold it back over the area, add a kiss of heat to relax it, then round the corner so the soft touch is nice and secure. Now cut away the excess film just below the corner. This means that the edge of the overlap will not be seen when looking down at the corner, and it's enough of an overlap that it will hold securely for the long term. Now we move to corners that won't be visual, in this case, under the drawer. Make a 45-degree relief cut on the corner just like the top, but in this case, fold the top section over but cut it flush to the corner. Now that it's cut flush to the corner, the bottom section then can be wrapped under, so the overlap will be at the bottom section of the edge. By wrapping it under this way, it has a nice secure hold and it's a quick, easy, straightforward, durable corner. Then once the corners are done, relax the film to the top edge and cut the excess away, again angling the blade slightly in towards the edge so it cuts flush. Now once all the excess film has been cut away, it's always good to finish strong, and that means adding heat to the outside edges to make sure they're fully sealed, and then go over the main surface area to activate the adhesive and check for bubbles. And with the soft touch properly applied, it's now time to reinstall the hardware. Always be sure to cut out the holes where the hardware reattaches, and do so safely to not damage what has just been wrapped. Maximum adhesion of the material will take place after around 48 hours, and for maintenance and cleaning, be sure to only use neutral pH detergents and use soft cloths or sponges. And for stubborn stains, hot water can be used, and in some cases a solution of isopropyl alcohol and water can be used as well. Be sure to avoid heavy-duty cleaners and make sure it's cleaned on a regular basis to avoid stains building up.